Hello, this is Jonathan Gorman from iCreative, and today we're going to be talking about the camera app on iPhone and iPad. The camera app has all kinds going on, and the screen that you're seeing is on an iPhone 12 Pro Max that's running iOS 14.4. And so if your camera app doesn't look exactly the same, it's probably because you might have a different version of the phone that has different camera qualities, or that your version of the software is a little bit different. So not to worry. So from the top, we can see that the flash is turned on, and with a tap on the little lightning bolt icon, I can reveal the flash. To the right of that are settings for night mode, which are going to kind of automatically do a lot of their own magic without much interaction from us. And that tool, which we'll talk about in a second, in the bottom only shows up when you're in low light conditions. In the center top of the screen is that little arrow that's pointing up, and to the right of that is the live button, which is the circular one that currently has a line going through it. When the line is going through it, unlike previous versions of iOS, the line now says that it's off, and when you turn it on by tapping on it once, the yellow live will come up, and the icon used to be solid yellow when it was live, and now it's not. It just does not have the line through it. Live, of course, is what we enjoy by having a little tiny bit of video just before and just after when you hit the camera shutter button. So I want to go back to the center top of the screen and tap on that little arrow that's pointing up, because when I do that, it's now pointing down, it turns yellow, and instead of me having all of the different modes of the camera, I'm now shown a bunch of tools. So I'm going to toggle that up again so we can have a look. So I'm going to tap on the center top of the screen on that little arrow and make it point up again. And now you can see that I can toggle between the different kinds of functions that my camera is able to do. And so when I hit that arrow pointing down, suddenly all these little tools are revealed, and it's kind of a neat thing. In the bottom left, of course, is the button for the flash tool. And so if I tap on that, all of the other tools go away, and I've got the opportunity to make the flash go to auto, to turn it on for every picture, or to turn it off for every picture. So that's kind of handy. To get rid of this, I'm just simply going to tap on the flash icon. And the next button to the right is the one I was talking about. It looks like kind of like a crescent moon with some lines in it. That's night mode. That will kind of magically appear and reappear based on the amount of low light conditions. If you tap on that, you can actually adjust by using what I'm going to call the ruler, which is the area just beneath the word that says auto. If I slide on that, I'm able to change kind of some exposure settings of night mode. Most of the time you won't have a lot of need to change that, because the night mode, it really varies by the amount of light that's coming into the sensor as to what the settings are going to be. The next one, of course, is live, and if I tap on live, it's going to enable it or disable it, and that's a pretty interesting feature. I think a lot of people love it for taking pictures of young children, because it shows a little bit of their expression before and after the camera shutter. But most of the time we're going to probably want this feature off, because you may have noticed as you cruise through a lot of your photos that they have this little tiny bit of motion with them, and that's because this was simply turned on. So I'm going to tap on the live button again and move on to the next one. 4:3 is an aspect ratio, so I can actually change the size of the area or the frame of my photo. So I can go to 16:9. I can go tap on that again, and I can make it totally square. So this just kind of allows you to have a little bit of control over the frame itself. Most of the time, we'll probably just leave it at the 4:3. The next button, the plus and minus, is all about exposure. And so if I drag the ruler to the left or the right, that's going to have an effect on how much light is allowed into the sensor altogether. And next up is the timer. The timer, of course, is going to allow me to uh, rest my camera on something steady, hit the timer button, and then when I hit the shutter, there's going to be a 321 or a 109876 before the camera actually takes the photo. So it's kind of a handy little trick when you're traveling and you just wanted to jump into the picture yourself. Next up, last but not least, is the filter. Now, filters are really cool because with a simple slide, I can change all of these dramatic effects of light onto my image prior to taking the photo. And if later I decide that I'm not really all that wild about the choices that I've made, I can actually undo the filter the filter effect after I've taken the picture. So there's a lot to be gained from having a little bit of filter. Maybe you're in a place where the lighting isn't terribly wonderful, and maybe you just want to make some quick changes to the color of the overall image. The filter has some really great things going for it. And a last couple of things, the bottom right, of course, is going to allow us to access the selfie. So if I tap on that, I'm able to see the selfie camera. And then I've obviously got the take the photo sort of shutter button, the big white one in the middle at the bottom there. And a nice trick to know actually is that if you're having a hard time, maybe you're taking a selfie or you're kind of holding the camera in an awkward position, that is not your only option for taking a photo. If you didn't know, the volume up or volume down buttons can be used as the button to take your image. Very, very cool. There's actually one last thing that I want to show, and that is, I'm just going to put my camera toward my computer really quick. If I tap once on the screen, you're going to get this little icon for a gold box, and that's going to not only focus its attention on a certain part of the image or the frame, but it's also going to make some exposure adjustments based on the part of the frame that I've chosen. So that's kind of cool. But if you didn't know this, when you tap and drag your finger up and down on the screen, it actually is going to adjust the exposure in real time. And this can be really, really handy when you're out in the field and maybe there's way too much light or you want a little bit more light in. Just tapping once and dragging your finger up and down on top of this image can be a big help to control some exposure. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a lot of fun and take some beautiful photos out there. And we look forward to seeing you real soon. Thank you very much.